Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Progress is everything. In this video we're talking about the most often question I'm asked: is investing just gambling? In this video we're going to be talking about all the reasons why I think that investing has very little to do with gambling. And reason number one: gambling is you versus the house. You are essentially betting your wits against a team of either game developers or digital developers who have already worked out the maths and the probability, and everything is stacked against the player. This is why casinos very rarely go bust. They make money and profit every year, whereas gamblers in general go bust. Reason number two: gambling, you have a high risk of losing everything every time you bet. Now there's some generalizations here, but when you're investing versus gambling, if you're doing it right, the chances are you're not going to lose your capital, especially when you have a portfolio approach or a diverse portfolio. There's a very good chance that you're not going to lose the entirety of your capital. Whereas if you are gambling, there's a very good chance you'll lose a very large chunk of your initial gambling stake. 3. Gambling is not based on business or ideas or creating anything. Gambling is just based on a game. Sometimes you could argue about sports betting is based on a sport, but the odds are so far stacked against the gambler versus the investor. It's completely different. When you're investing in an idea. In general, when we're talking about stocks here, you're investing in a company, they're producing product, they're producing a service, they may be expanding. It's very different from betting on a horse or a football team winning. Number 4, very often when you're gambling, if you're a gambler and you're staking some money on a bet, it's not based on probabilities. You're basing it on maybe an idea or a hunch, or maybe you're betting on your favorite team. There's some similarities here with investing, because you could argue that if you're betting on your favorite company or you're tracking a company, it's similar. But the fact is, it's much more complex when you're doing investing in terms of the variables are stacked in your favor, because in general, for lots of different reasons, I guess, companies are likely to do better than sports. When a sports team or an area within gambling has a higher probability of success, the payout is very low. Whereas when you're investing, when a company has a higher probability of success, you can still capture a lot of value. For example, there are companies that the only difference there is with investing, you might have a higher PE ratio, and I've got other videos about how to calculate and the importance of PE ratio in terms of how much you pay when you're investing. Essentially, when you're investing, you often get a really good price versus when you're gambling, because there's so many people within a company, whether it's a casino, whether it's a sports book organization, that are kind of planning out your failure. And reason investing is not gambling, number 5, is that casinos and gambling software providers, etc., ban winners. If you find a way to win against casinos or consistently against these people that produce gambling games or sportsbook games or anything in that gambling industry, they will ban you. You'll have a limited time frame in which you can make money. If you're using technology, they'll try and find out what you're doing. There are lots of videos online. You can find videos online where they talks about arbitration, which is getting the price between that's offered versus different markets and whatnot. But they'll find out and they'll ban you. Whereas if you're a good investor, people won't ban you. They'll give you money to invest. You can easily become a fund manager or things like that, and people will back you. Or even if you're not backed, you'll accumulate more money and you'll be able to do more investing, and your returns and results should improve over time. Number 6, the 6th reason that investing is not or nothing like gambling is that most activity within gambling is short-term time frames. For example, it might be based in the sports world on a game that's happening. In investing, it's not like that. In general, a lot of people invest for the medium to long term, successful investors. There are some investors that do it on a quarterly basis, but even so, it's not generally short time frames. Now remember, we're not talking about traders here. Trading is very different from investing, and I'm going to be publishing videos about the differences because I've done both moderately successfully. Certainly with investing, I'm much better at it. We're just talking about investing here. So essentially, gambling timeframes are really short in general, and investing timeframes are really long. An example is I invested in some house builders over a number of years, they 5 or 6x, and they went up 500 or 600%. Domino's Pizza I was in for many years, and these are long-term investments, but they do very well over a long period of time. The seventh reason that investing is not gambling is there are more warning signs with investing. For example, you get updates and reports, whether it's quarterly earnings reports. Companies, if you're investing in specific companies, will publish an annual report where you can look at all of the facts and information. You can even go one step further, which is something I sometimes do, and you can email the CEO of the company and they will get back to you, or most likely they'll get back to you, or someone will get back to you to answer the questions, and you can ask them anything you want. They might not answer everything, but either way, there are warning signs, whether they're public or whether you get them from a private email conversation. You can find out what you need to find out. Whereas with gambling, it's all behind closed doors. The guys work out the probabilities and things like that, and you're always stacked against the house, and you're most likely going to lose. Number 8, the 8th reason why investing is not gambling is that when you invest, your gains can be compounded over time, and that does not happen with gambling unless you take on additional risk. For example, I have invested in a company in the UK, and the share price has more than doubled in 12 months. And their dividend has gone up more than 100% in 2 years. It's very likely that dividend is going to increase over time, as well as the share price. Now, this doesn't happen if you bet on, Manchester United to win the Premier League this year. It's not going to compound next year if they come second, or even if they win next year. You have to make an additional bet. Now, that's not compounding any results. That's just you making another bet, and the probabilities change. So the odds makers know that if Man United win this year, they're going to increase the cost, and the rate that you get is going to be worse when you bet on it. Whereas if you keep investing in a stock that's done well, yes, the PE ratio might go up, but the dividends go up, the share price continues to go up. So I think it's completely different, and it's something that I've never heard anybody talk about that. I think it's really important. If you invested in Disney 10, 15 years ago, you'd be up well over 10x. So 10k in Disney would be worth well over 100 grand. It's a simple stock. I mentioned it to friends and family over 10 years ago because I could see what they were doing with acquiring movie studios. Obviously now Disney Plus is doing very well. I expect Disney to keep doing well. Anyway, the point is that you do not get penalised for investing in good companies and holding them over the long term. Whereas with gambling, you have to keep making additional bets. Equally with this related, the 9th reason that investing is nothing like casinos or gambling is that casinos do not pay dividends. They don't go up ever. Whereas when a company grows, even small companies, when they start making more and more money, they often don't know what to do with it, and the easiest way for them to give back to their shareholders is to give dividends. Dividends are income for investors. So if you put in $10,000 into Disney 10 years ago, your dividends would be the income they give you back for holding those shares as a reward to directors and shareholders. So that's something you never get from gambling. Difference number 11 is that casinos and gambling companies never offer their punters any other benefits, or very rarely offer the average person any other benefits. Whereas with investing, companies will often, when they've got too much cash, when they're doing too well, they'll do something called a share buyback. I'll probably do another video about the relevance and the importance of when a company does do share buybacks and how that impacts the growth of a company. But put it this way, if a company has 1 million shares and they have loads of money and they buy back 100,000 of their shares, there's only 900k shares, the number of shares in circulation, which means the value of your shares automatically goes up, and the dividend goes up as well because there's less shareholders around. So often the value of your shares goes up, often the value of the dividends goes up as well. That's a really big, over time, that's a massive factor. And when a company is buying back shares, so there's less shareholders on the register, there's less shares going around, the value of your portfolio goes up, and the dividend is really important as well. The next reason that investing is not like gambling, and if you've made it this far, then you may as well like the video and subscribe to hear more content educating yourself about the world of finance and investing, is that casino and gambling traits or trades or punts cannot be inherited. So you can't pass down your successes to the next generation, you can't gift them to friends and family. Whereas if you had lots of shares in Tesla or Disney or Facebook or whatever, you can gift them at any point when you're living, and you can also put them in your will so that your family can, or anyone you want, can inherit them. So the final point, what is the only thing that I can see that's like similar to gambling and investing? And I think the only thing that I can see that's similar is that one puts up money. Whether you're gambling, you put up your stake, and investing, you invest your investment capital. And within gambling, you can make winnings from that, and you can lose money. And that's the only similarity. You can lose money investing, of course, if you sell when the stock is down, you can, or lower than when you bought, you can lose money. And of course, if it goes up over time, you can make money. But I think that is the limitation of the similarity. And for the points I've made in this video, share buybacks, dividends, the fact that companies grow over time and a lot of companies get more efficient, users over time, the fact that something else I haven't even mentioned is technology really helps a lot of businesses and allows them to reduce their operating costs, otherwise known as operating expenditure or OPEX. That doesn't happen with it when you're gambling. In fact, it's the opposite. Casinos get better at managing their operation or operational expenditure, which is normally banning winning players. So there's like tons of reasons why investing is like not gambling at all. If you want to learn more about investing in finance and how you can grow your wealth, this is something I'm passionate about. I've been investing myself for 16 years. On this channel, I'm going to be talking about some of my experiences as well as some of the things I've learned. Everyone makes mistakes investing, including Warren Buffett, including me. And on this channel, I'm going to be sharing my experiences, talking about what I do, maybe even having some tutorials about how one can use the strength and power of technology, invest in some interesting concepts. So I'm going to leave it there for now. If you haven't already, if you've got this far, smash that like button and subscribe. Check out my other videos on investing. I've done some older videos where I'm a little bit younger, have a little bit more hair, maybe less thick of a beard. Let me know if there's any videos in particular you'd like me to make a video on in the comment section below. And of course, if you've got any feedback on these videos, of course, put it in the comments section below. Guys, I love making these videos. I hope you like them as well. And remember that knowledge is power, especially the right kind of knowledge, and that progress is everything. I'll see you guys in the next video.